Hello and welcome to the annual general meeting for Oak Tree Retirement Village, Gunnedah. My name is Dan and I'm one of the financial accountants that look after the villages here at Oak Tree. As noted in the AGM packs previously provided to you, unfortunately due to the impact of COVID-19 and the necessary travel restrictions, we can't visit in person, so we're going to be providing this AGM in video format. The format of this recording will be the same as one delivered in person, and we'll be following the agenda that was outlined in the notice of meeting previously delivered to you. Prior to working through the agenda though, I'll go over the annual meeting guidance, which provides a refresher of the different types of funds. So if you're following along, that's Annexure 1, and I'll start with the village account at the top. So this fund is funded by the residents through their recurrent charges and covers all village expenses such as wages, rates, water costs, electricity, insurance, gardening, community centre amenities, etc. And this account is guided by a quantity surveyor report, and it provides guidance over a 10-year period. So they will do a site visit every 3 years with an update in the alternate 2 years. Moving down to the Capital Works Fund. So the residents also fund this through their recurrent charges, and it covers all village preventative maintenance and ad hoc maintenance, and works essentially like a sinking fund in a normal body corporate to fund current and also future village maintenance. Examples of this would be gate repairs, oven repair, termite and pest control checks, garden mulching, and also painting. And then lastly at the bottom, for capital replacement, just noting Oak Tree funds a replacement of all capital items in the village as per the legislation. So now I'll move through the agenda items for the meeting. So number 1 is an explanation of any material variances between what was actually spent for the year as compared to the approved annual budget. And I'll start there with the village fund. And just noting before I go into that the auditors for the current year were BDO, and noting that in their audit opinion, they believe the accounts represent fairly the position of the village at 30 June. So for the village accounts, just noting overall expenditure came in $14,431 over budget. And I'll go through the overs and unders that make that up. So starting with management services. Now this line includes expenses for wages for the village manager, annual leave, and also bank fees for the village. And noting spend for the year was $13,324 over budget for the year. Now the budget for the year did include 5 hours a week of village manager time that was to be reallocated out of this expense into the motor vehicle expense line, and that was to represent the village manager time for resident transport. As this didn't occur throughout the year, you'll see this expense is over budget and the motor vehicles expense line below is well under budget. The other factor impacting this was the change in village manager towards the middle of the year. Moving down, we have community centre services and amenities. Now this expense line includes costs for cleaning services, supplies, and amenities, as well as the computer, internet, and telephone costs. So spend for the year here came in $4,636 under budget, and this was due to a low level of use of the community centre, given the COVID-19 restrictions in place for part of the year. Moving down to gardening services and general maintenance. So noting here the spend was $4,200 under budget for the year, and this was just due to less labour for maintenance and ad hoc repairs than was forecast in the budget. Moving down to motor vehicles, as I mentioned above, the vehicle expenditure came in $10,138 under budget, and this was due to a large portion being for the village manager driving of the bus, and as this didn't occur, this line has come in under budget. Moving down to insurance, now this covers your property and public liability insurance. And noting here that insurance spend for the year came in $5,497 over budget. And just to note here, this is an oak tree, this is a cost that oak tree cannot control. So we do go to the market each year at renewal time to obtain multiple quotes from underwriters. And this is in order to get the cheapest level of insurance we can, while still maintaining the necessary level of cover for the village. Moving down, I will now go to the CWF accounts. So it's noting here that overall expenditure came in $6,445 under budget. And going down through the expenses, we'll start with external surfaces and the roof and gutter clean. So noting here, these lines had no spend for the year. Whilst there was a budget of $1,825 and $2,756 respectively, the nature of the CWF is that work may not always need to be carried out exactly per what the budget estimate forecasts. This does mean though that the cash was put aside and will sit there untouched for when the work needs to be carried out in the future. So it's sitting there waiting to go when it's going to be done. Moving down to garage door motor. So noting here, this line was $1,241 under budget. And that was due to there only being one garage door needing work during the year. Moving down to general repairs. Noting here, this line was $1,526 under budget. The major work carried out during the year here was to install a water channel to assist with the draining of the village. Moving down to pest control. So noting here, this line was $1,440 over budget for the year. And the major expense for the period relates to the annual termite inspection and also treatment for both the termites and other pests. And the variance here was due to a greater number of villas requiring servicing than was budgeted for. And lastly, I'll just note there, the bank account balance as at the 30th of June for the CWF was $16,525. So I'll now go back and go through the remaining agenda items. So starting with agenda item number 2, any changes to the proposed 2021 annual budget that did not require the residents' consent. There were no changes to that 2021 budget. Number 3, any proposals for capital works that were not notified in the 2022 annual budget. Again, there were no proposals for capital works here. Number 4, other items including any proposed maintenance plans. So there's nothing to note on agenda item number 4. We'll still be following the quantity surveyor estimates for maintenance plans. Number 5, any future plans for the village, including any proposed improvements. There were no changes to the future plans for the village. Number 7, any proposed changes, number 6, skipped one. Number 6, any change or proposed change to the management of the village. There are no changes or proposed changes. Oak Tree will still remain the operator of the village. Number 7, any proposed changes to the level of service provided. Again, there's no proposed changes to this level of service. And then number 8, any safety issues. So as at the recording of this AGM, there's no additional safety issues that we need to bring up in the AGM. And then number 9, we did have question time for queries lodged in advance. What we will do, we didn't have any questions lodged in advance, but we do invite you to submit any written questions to your village manager. And what finance will do is collate all of those questions, put together some detailed written responses for you, including some minutes to the meeting to show what we talked through, and we'll be providing these to all the residents. That's it for the AGM, but I'd like to thank you for watching the 2021 Gunnedah Annual General Meeting.